Hi there, and thanks for joining us. Welcome back to Red Business in Focus with Cork's local enterprise offices, where we are shining the spotlight on businesses throughout Cork, hearing from inspiring entrepreneurs and their way of thinking. This week we are joined by Phil Cohn of Academy Crests. Phil is going to give us an insight into his second generation family business, Academy Crests, and how adapting a 4-day working week has changed his business and productivity for the better. Phil, you're welcome back to Red Business because you were on the podcast with us previously.
That's right, thanks Jonathan. I think that was probably 2019, was it, before we went to shutdown?
I remember there was a happier time where apparently we didn't have to wear masks in public, but here we are now. As we are doing with everybody, we're giving them 30 seconds at the very start just to tell us about their company, a bit of an elevator pitch. So in 30 seconds, tell us about Academy Crests.
Yeah, so Academy Crests were one of Munster's probably biggest contract embroidery and printing company. Where we've been based in Cork all our lives for the last 36 years. So what generally happens is a lot of people send in their stuff, garments, and we brand them, embroider them, or print them, and then ship them nationally. So we've some very large contracts with Port West and other big safety suppliers. And we've generally about 10 working between part-time and full-time, and it's great.
34 seconds, not bad. That's okay, just 4 seconds over. Now, it's a family business and you are second generation.
Yes, that's right, yeah. So, like, it originated in 1986 in a small box room, which is now Mum and Dad's en suite at home. And
I'm glad it got an upgrade.
I know, yeah. So it slowly grew. We went from there to the garage once business got better. And then eventually it was the early 90s, they moved we were in Academy Street, hence the name Academy Crests, and we moved up to Nolan Flynn's Business Park in 90s, and then eventually I took over in 2006. So my background would be civil engineering, and I moved back from the UK, took it over, and we've grown and grown every year since.
I see people, when they think about Crests, their brain automatically goes to school, because that was probably what the formal Crests they would think of, but it's a much broader sector than that, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Like everything you can think of, from football jerseys to soccer jerseys, basketball, school uniforms, and then the PPE, like a lot of the safety standards they brought in, that all PPE has to be branded with company names going onto sites, so to identify people, and generally, it's a good way for companies to promote themselves. If you have lads, be it any kind of trade, going into a site or into a shopping centre or wherever, to be branded with their own brand, it's good advertising.
It's free advertising is what it is. How much has the technology evolved since your mum and dad's box room?
Oh, it's huge, absolutely huge. I mean, small things now. We used to get so you would say you would have sent on the design template to be created. We back in the 80s, we would have sent it to the UK, and they would have created a blue punched hole tape. So you could have had a big round tape that had to be fed through a reader and then rewounded by hand, and it was all paper. And now everything's gone digital, and it's just it's still created, but now it's just USB into the machines, and it's just.
But I'm presuming you can put a crest or you can put a logo on anything, can't you?
Pretty much. Like over the time now, we've had some beauties, but one of the things that stands out is motorcycle boots. We branded initials onto the back of those as a present. Loads of things over the years. I mean, especially hen parties and stag parties, you get asked for ferociously funny things, but generally it's business and companies. I mean, we would probably, the space I've gone into really is the large quantity. We're geared up for large quantity, big business rather than.
And that's where the growth has come from in the last while. But you've done that growth as part of a planned expansion. It wasn't something that you rushed into. Yes, the business was coming through, but with support, you managed to put in place a lot of processes and mechanisms that meant the company had sustainable growth.
Oh, absolutely. Back in 2015, we moved from the Nolan Flynn's Business Park down to where we are now, North Point Business Park, and we had some units there. And it was shortly 2016 I took part in the local enterprise lean program, and that was really a game changer for us. Even even though you think you'd have some common sense in areas, generally, we changed the whole style of the business. And so where we had everything laid out quite expansively, thinking, we need space for this and space for growth and everything. When we developed it through the Lean program, we brought everything in nice and tight, and just really improved on the processes and waste. We were wasting loads of time and everything, and for us, it just changed the whole company.
Being a family business, is it an advantage or a disadvantage? You're second generation. I don't know what's coming up behind you, but is that a good or a bad thing when you get to a level like you're at, which is a really impressive growth level, new business coming through the door, old style versus new style?
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough when my parents, they're both retired now for the last 10 odd years, but I was lucky enough at the time, they literally just handed over the reins and went, there you go, make changes. Now, we had the odd clash, I mean, as you can imagine, but overall, they knew stuff had to be done, because this was back in 2006. Otherwise, the honest truth is, I don't think we would have got through the downturn in 2008, and the last few years probably not. So, it just needed some new and fresh blood to take things on, and we've strived. And I suppose where mum and dad at the time had back then, I think they only had about 4 working for them. I've now put in, we've a great team, and that's the only reason. A lot of people have been with me since 2008, so it's...
I have to ask you something I referenced at the start. The 4-day working week, right? This is a conversation that's been had around. It's been always portrayed as, the classic French solution. Work for 4 days and take the 5th off. You've actually implemented this. You actually ran the rule over it. What have you found after you moved to the 4-day working week?
Yeah, so we moved to the 4-day working week in February 2019, and you'd laugh. I mean, if I went back to change it, I think I'd be hung, drawn and quartered. But it's been a massive positive. I mean, look, I spent about a year and a half before that researching it, a lot of case studies in New Zealand, Canada, some of the States, and just trying to do the homework on it. And at the time, we were doing a 37.5-hour week. And I had a full team meeting in January 2019, and we decided, look, instead of, we used to finish half day on a Friday, and we, as I said, we did the 37.5-hour. If we went to 36 and just did 4 days, we tried it for 6 months, and they all loved it. I mean, we found production increased.
Well, I'm sure surely productivity fell through the floor. You lost an hour and a half.
No, and you'd be surprised, because people at the time knew that the work. So the workload never really changed, and so we knew now we had to get what we were normally doing in 36 hours instead of 37.5. And so any of that wasted time, that extra time coming back from tea breaks and stuff like that was all nipped in the bud.
Yeah.
And the team bought into it because they know it's beneficial for them.
academycrests.ie is the website if people want to look up your fine list of fare. Phil Cohn, pleasure again. Thanks so much for joining us.
Super, thanks very much, Jonathan. Cheers.
Join us next week when we'll be joined by Marie Toft of Emotionize, who has 2 decades of experience as a senior TV producer under her belt, and she's working on developing a unique artificial intelligence targeting the audience's concerns, desires and emotions. You won't want to miss it. That's next week on Red Business in Focus with Cork's local enterprise offices.